in order to write the C equivalent instruction or the expression, we are telling that we have to store it in C, right? So we can tell into C we have to store it, right? So again it should be a two-dimensional array. Why two-dimensional array? Because rows and then the columns we have to store. So where do I have to store? In C of 0, 0. So I said your rows we are going to represent it by some index called as I. In general I can tell, right? And then columns I can represent it by J, right? Same way, see, that is 0, 0. I can tell into 0, 0 what I have to store? A of 0, 0 plus B of 0, 0, right? I have to do A of 0, 0 and then B of 0, 0. See, what we are doing is C of 0, 0. We are going to store A of 0, 0 plus B of 0, 0, right? And next what we are going to do? In order to store this 2 plus 5 we have to do means what we are going to do? Where we have to store it in? C of 0, 1. So we are going to tell it as C of 0, 1 is equal to A of what should be there? 0, 1. 0, 1 plus what? We are going to get 5 from B, that is B of 0, 1. B of 0, 1, right? Same way we are going to get 3 from, so where we have to store? C of 1, 0 position. 1, 0 we have to store A of 1, 0 and then B of 1, 0. So we just generalized the rows as I and then columns as J. So the general instruction can be written like this, that is C of I and J is equal to A of Ij plus B of Ij. You can observe whatever I is there, the same I always is the same, J is same here. So I, whatever I is there here, 0, I is 0 everywhere, J is 1, J is 1 everywhere. Okay, that's why we generalize just as C of Ij is equal to A of Ij and B of Ij. Now, how to read? Let us know how to read the elements. Okay, how to read the elements of a matrix. So you know that in order to read, it is not just one dimension, it is two dimensional. That means it contains rows and columns. So you know that it contains rows and columns. So to keep track of row, you require one for loop, and to keep track of column, you require one more for loop. Okay, so we can just start writing the program. Okay, so hash include, right, stdio dot h. Next, what is it? Void main. Okay, then first thing is what? We have to declare the matrix, right? So A matrix is there. You can declare it of any size, no problem. Right now you can just declare as maximum as 5 to 5 matrix. Okay, B of 5 and 5 cross 5 matrix, and then I can tell C also can contain some 5 cross 5 matrix. Okay, I am defining the size of the matrix. Here I can initialize C of C matrix with 0. Okay, and what else we might require? I, one variable to keep track of the loop I and J. Okay, and then here if we read the size of the matrix, then we have to require to have one more, that is for size m and n. Okay, if we are going to read the size of the matrix, okay, that is the order of the matrix. Okay, so what is our first task? First we have to read the order of the matrix. So printf enter the order of matrix. Okay, slash and of course. Okay, so enter the order of the matrix. So we have to check. So here instead of writing order of the matrix, order of the matrix you have written. So what we can do it is, we can just read it as n. Okay, if you want, if you want, you can read just n, saying that 2 cross 2 matrix it is. Okay, so you can just read it as n, one single variable, or you can read it into m and n. Okay, scanf %d if I am going to read it in m and n. Okay, m and n cross matrix. Okay, so I can read two numbers that will give you the order of the matrix. Okay, now how to read the elements of matrix A. Okay, so I can just write printf enter the elements of matrix A. Okay, enter the elements of matrix A. So how do I have to enter? Using scanf. So before scanf, I have to make the concept of for loop. So for I is equal to, I can initialize from 0 till I is less than n, I plus plus. So I generalized as m and n. So what is the first thing? Row I am going to take it as m, and column I am taking to represent it as n. Okay, so for rows I am keeping my size as m, and for column I am taking my size as n. For j is equal to 0, j is less than n, j plus plus. Okay, what I have to do? Scanf %d, only one value I am going to read at a time. And where do I have to store in? Ampersand a of, I have to write a of I j. Okay, so what happens is, first time I value would be 0, 0 is less than, think that I just entered 2 cross 2 matrix, that is m and n values 2. Okay, so it will check 0 is less than 2, it is true, it will come inside. J value will be 0, j 0 is less than 2, true, it will come here. So what happens is, a of 0 0, whatever you enter one number will get stored in a of 0 0, that is here. Okay, next what happens? J will be incremented to 1. 1 is less than 2, right? So what happens? I value is still 0 and j value is 1, right? So into 0 1 you are going to store the second element what you entered. Okay, now j gets incremented to 2. Okay, so is 2 less than 2? No, false. So what will do? Control will go outside the for loop, that is outermost for loop, it will jump to the outermost for loop, and I will be incremented to 1. So 1 is less than 2, true, again it will come inside. Okay, j is 0 now, that means what? This position 1 0. So I value is 1 and j value right now it is 0. So whatever you enter it as 3 will get stored it in this place. Next what happens? J will be incremented to 1. Okay, so 1 is less than 2. What is the value of I? I is 1. So the location is 1 and 1. Now I value is 1 and j value is 1. So whatever you enter, the 4 will get stored at this place. Okay, I hope you got it. The same way you are going to enter the matrix for B. Enter the elements of matrix B. Okay, so again remember it is for loop, I have to write for I is less than m, I plus plus. Okay, for j is equal to 0, j is less than n, j plus plus. Okay, scanf scanf, what is it? %d, ampersand, what we have to write? B of I and j. Okay, now we have done with reading the elements, right? Reading the elements is over, that is matrix A and matrix B are finished. Now I have to do perform matrix addition. Again, to perform matrix addition and store it in C are required two for loops, right? Because I have to access both I and j of A and B, and I have to store it in C also. That is, we are going through the rows and columns of C also. So computation, so I can compute it. Computation of C matrix is, or resultant matrix I can say, we require for loop. Okay, so for loop for I is equal to 0, I is less than n. Okay, you can tell I plus plus. Okay, for j is equal to 0, j is less than, okay, this is rows, right? This is column n, j plus plus. What am I supposed to write now? I'm supposed to write the resultant and find the resultant. So it should be, I have to write C of ij should contain A of ij plus B of ij. Okay, got it? It's very simple. So we know that how to get this, how did we arrive at this equation, right? So this happens for until the resultant matrix C of ij will be found. Now resultant matrix C of ij is being found. Now how to write the print the resultant matrix? So resultant matrix is present in C of ij. Again, printf we have to use resultant matrix is, we can just write, put a slash in, and then see we want to print, no, so we can write for loop for, okay, for I is equal to 0, I is less than m, I plus plus. Now we have the, what is that, resultant matrix here. See, resultant matrix is there, 4 plus 1 is being performed, 2 plus 5 everything is performed, and it is there in C resultant matrix. So we have to print it, means we require two for loops again. Okay, now I have to print here, printf. How do I print? Just %d I can give. Okay, and let me give tab space because I want to represent in the terms of matrix, right? So where is the result? There in C of ij. I have to get my elements from C of ij. Okay, now I have to close this. Why I am putting this in flower bracket is because once my, what is that, first row finish, that is after printing 4 plus 1, one tab space is there, it will jump into j loop this location, and again it will print 5 plus 2, that is 7. Next answer should come here, 6 plus 3, 9 should be printed in the next line. So in order to do that, I required to write, that means after this j loop terminates, I have to go to the next row. So I have to write printf slash n, so that it will go to the next line. Once j loop finish, it will come here, the statement is slash n, it will do, and it will jump to I. So I value will become 1, and again you can go to j loop 0, and you can print these two elements, right? So in order to do that, so one more bracket is required to close the main. So all the other brackets is closed. Okay, so very simple program. You have to just know that two for loops here, and this is the line you have to remember, that is A of ij plus B of ij. You are going to store it in C of ij. Okay, just memorize or just go through how you are going to get this C of ij. Okay, this is very important. I hope you have understood. Thank you.